What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the G-Ret Show. I'm G-Ret. I'm excited to make this video because it's so close to the regular season. Barcelona also just beat Man City in penalties a couple days ago. Then they just beat Real Madrid. I know, preseason El Clasico, but nonetheless, a win is a win, and I think it's a good confidence booster for a lot of these young players, for Flick and the rest of the team going into the season. But there's a couple things I want to specifically talk about, in particular, two players that I think are going to play a very, very big part in Barcelona's future, and maybe as soon as this season, they're going to be able to make a pretty good impact within Barcelona. So I desperately want to hear what you guys have to say about this, and I'm going to get into the reasonings why once the video kind of starts. And I also want to give you guys a couple big updates on Nico WIlliams and Dani Olmo. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back, guys. I appreciate you guys watching this episode. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy this content. I appreciate the support. Now let's jump in and discuss Barcelona. So briefly, I do want to say this and why I want you guys to comment your thoughts about these two topics specifically, or these two players. I wasn't really able to watch the El Clasico match. I was out. I was extremely busy last night, so I could only really watch some of the highlights. And then in the Man City match a couple days back, I was recording videos and editing at that time, so I was kind of half working, half watching. So I really couldn't analyze these matches as much as I wanted to. So that's why I want to see what you guys have to say. Who stood out to you from Barcelona? What stood out to you? Were you impressed by any specific players? And do you think any of these players could have an impact on Barcelona as soon as this season? So that's why I want to hear what you guys have to say. Specifically talking about a couple of these Barcelona players. First and foremost, obviously, Pau Victor. It looks like he could play an important role moving forward and maybe be the next successor to Robert Lewandowski. Now, again, there are two friendlies, but he has 3 goals in 2 friendlies, but 2 against Real Madrid and 1 against Man City, the 2 best teams in the world. And yes, they're friendlies, but from someone that hasn't played at the top level yet, who's played for Barcelona B, I feel like this is really good for him, for the club, and his confidence, and he's shown a lot of potential. He can also play on the right wing, so if you wanted to, sub off Lamine Yamal and give him a break, give him some time, he's going to be dangerous as there as well. He's got a knack for goal. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's 22, but I think he could be an important player moving forward, and even coming off the bench, giving, 10, 15, 20 minutes for Barcelona in a good amount of games, and maybe next season. Now, I think the issue is it going to be him or is it Vitor Roque? I think you have to pick between the two. And to be honest, for what I've seen, at least the first half against Man City, I didn't notice Vitor Roque. I think his issue is he's got the ability, the athletic ability, the talent, but I think he lacks confidence, and I think he's nervous. And if you have all the ability in the world, but you play tentative and nervous, you don't have confidence, at the end of the day, it's a recipe for disaster. And I think right now, if we're looking at who's going to play, who's going to sub off Lewandowski, is it going to be Vitor Roque or Pau Victor? I think it's going to be Pau Victor. So let me know your thoughts about him down below and if you think he's going to get some good playing time this season. Now, next is Marc Casado. I think he could be very special. Not right now. I think he has to develop. He hasn't really played at the top level yet, so we can't really base anything off of preseason because the regular season is different. There's so many first-team players from both sides that haven't played. There's a lot more on the line. It's just different. But I think the ability, the technical ability, the talent, the athletic ability, it's all there. I mean, just that one flick pass he had in the Man City match when Barcelona scored their first goal, it was just incredible. I mean, it's just, you expect this stuff from the La Masia players because they're so technically gifted and they're phenomenal. I mean, the Barcelona's academy is the best in the world. But I think he possesses a lot, and from what Flick has said and other people within Barcelona, they said he kind of resembles Kimmich in his early years. In last season, he flipped between right back and as a CDM. So he's a very, very defensive-minded player. And they're saying that he could potentially be the long-term successor to Sergio Busquets. Now, again, this is where I want to hear some of your thoughts and opinions, but I think he's going to be one player for sure that he will play. Maybe not right away next season, but he's going to make his way into the team, and I think he's going to prove that he could be a starter pretty quickly if he performs well. And I think if Barcelona runs those 2 holding midfielders, I think he'll be the one that plays next to Frankie de Jong, and I think those 2 paired together, I'm excited to see it, and I'm not expecting him to be world-class right off the get because I think he's only 20. He's going to have to get a lot of experience and game time. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself, but I think these 2 players, if Barcelona develops them correctly, and I think Flick is going to do a good job. I think the way that he is with his tactics, he's very structured. One of his complaints, he wanted Barcelona to press more in certain areas and be more strategic. So I think we're going to see a lot of very structured defensive work from Barcelona. And I'm excited to see it and see if both of these players, Pau Victor and Marc, fit into Barcelona's plans. Let me know your thoughts about them down below. Now, I do want to touch briefly on Nico WIlliams and Dani Olmo. So first, Dani Olmo. It looks like Barcelona and Olmo have agreed personally. Now, the only issue is Leipzig is playing hardball, and I guess I've read a couple articles, and I guess they're notorious for kind of being very, very hard to work with and complete these deals with because they want to get the most money possible out of Dani Olmo and out of their players. Now, I think Dani Olmo's contract with Leipzig ends at 2027, so I don't know if they were to wait until next season, not even Barcelona, anybody, to go after Dani Olmo, I feel like his contract, his release clause would only decline. So I think if they're going to get rid of him, it would make sense and it'd be advantageous for Leipzig to sell him now because Barcelona is also putting in these different variable compensation options for him too, like different incentives and bonuses if this happens for Barcelona or that happens. So I think the deal will go through. I think they just want at least 50 million plus. Obviously, it's set at 60, but with the variables that they're willing to pay Leipzig, I think they're going to end up accepting. But hopefully they can accept sooner rather than later because I would hate for Barcelona to finally make an actual signing, and it's so close to the season where we're not going to be able to see him play for a week or two or even a few weeks because he's not really... He had no training with the club. He has no idea the way that they're playing, how he's going to fit into the squad. So hopefully this gets done pretty quickly, and they need to have time to develop within the club for at least a few weeks before they play. So I think it's going to happen. I just think Leipzig is trying to get as much money as they possibly can before finally selling Dani Olmo because he is a really good player, so I get it. Now, next is Nico, and honestly, I feel like I can't even give you guys an honest update because we know how the media is. We know how all these transfer rumors are. One day it's Barcelona's extremely close, and then 2 hours later we hear from different sources. The door is shut on Nico WIlliams. If they don't sign Nico, that the door is shut, he can never join again. He wants to stay at Athletic Club. It's this, it's that. It's everything, so it's too much. But it looks like, for sure, Nico did decline PSG. So that's great. Now it just seems like it's either Barcelona or Athletic Club. And look, I understand Athletic Club. Obviously, you want to keep Nico. He's a fantastic player. I also know that, obviously, this is the year that the new Champions League structure takes place. So I have to look into that a little more. But I know Athletic Club didn't make top four. They were in 5th place in La Liga. So I don't think they're going to be in the Champions League unless unless an extra team from Spain or these other leagues make it. So he wouldn't even be in the Champions League. I get it. His brother plays there. It's not like he's going to have a chance to join Real Madrid. They have Vinicius, Rodrigo, Mbappe. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. I mean, Man City has Jeremy Doku on the left wing. I think he's going to be their long-term solution there. Where else would he actually want to go and play? Because the left wing spot at Barcelona is completely open. If he comes to Barcelona, he immediately starts and he becomes one of their best players, and he will stay, and he will be until he decides to leave the club. So, I understand wanting to stay with your brother. I understand you're probably comfortable there, but if you're trying to build a legacy, if you're going to try and win any trophy, I know Barcelona hasn't had a ton of success in the Champions League. Staying at Athletic Club it will be worse. So if I'm Nico and you care about winning and, competing for trophies, maybe trying to compete for the Ballon d'Or one day in the future, Barcelona is the spot to do it. I don't know why he wouldn't do it. Again, like some of the reasons I've explained, I understand to an extent. Yes, your brother plays there. You're probably comfortable there. Maybe you love it there. That's great. And maybe you don't care as much about trophies or, becoming the best player, one of the best players in the world, and, maybe winning a Ballon d'Or. If you care about that stuff, I don't understand why he wouldn't join Barcelona. But I feel like his price is only going to increase the more time that goes on. It's just going to be interesting how it plays out. And if he doesn't join Barcelona, honestly, it's very disappointing for Barcelona and on his end because, honestly, at the end of the day, what are you going to accomplish? Personally, besides pride and trophy-wise, you're not going to accomplish anything there. I hate to say it. So, it's like Neymar leaving Barcelona and joining PSG. Yeah, you're going to be the star at PSG, and you're going to be the main guy there, besides winning a league trophy, which Nico won't even do with Athletic Club. No Ballon d'Or for Neymar, no Champions League, so I know it's not exactly the same comparison, but it's just frustrating. Let me know what you guys think about that situation too. A lot of really interesting updates for Barcelona. I'm most importantly interested to hear what you guys have to say about some of these players like Pau Victor, Marc Casado, and more. Let me know your thoughts about these players and if you think they could play a vital role with Barcelona even this season. I can't wait for the season to start. Only a couple weeks away. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys like this video, and I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching, and I hope to see you guys back here next time on the G Red Show.